Hey everybody, this is the Mage of Ancients, and I'm back with another top 5 list. This channel has hit 500 subscribers just recently, and I am just so thankful for each and every one of you, whether you have watched my videos, or if you subscribe to this channel, or followed me on my social media platforms. To that, I say thank you. I say thank you again to each and every single one of you. And I couldn't be any more grateful than I am right now. So I hope this channel will continue to grow, and so I say to you guys, if you haven't so already, be sure to subscribe to this channel and ring the notification bell so you stay updated on my latest Yu-Gi-Oh videos. I got back into this game in 2017, which means over 2 years of being able to play Yu-Gi-Oh again. As much as I would like to think that I know a lot about the game back in 2017, I didn't. But I do know a lot more about the game now than I did back in 2017. So for today's video, I thought it would be fun to share with you all the lessons, at least 5 lessons that I've learned upon my return in Yu-Gi-Oh! So in no particular order, here are my top 5 lessons that I've learned after 2 years in Yu-Gi-Oh! So to start off, the first lesson that I've learned about Yu-Gi-Oh! Is that sometimes the rules in anime don't apply to the game in real life. A good example of this is that unless you're playing an archetype like Cleforts, you are not able to normal summon unless you tribute first. Remember back in the Duelist Kingdom arc when Yugi was able to summon his Dark Magician and Kaiba was able to summon his Blue Eyes White Dragons without tributing first? Well, that rule does not apply to the game in real life, unfortunately. But then again, I think it's pretty fair that this tribute summon rule has come into effect. Otherwise, this game would be a lot more broken than it is right now. And there are also these broken cards in the anime that either get changed if they ever do get released in real life, or Konami just decides not to release these cards at all. For example, Mischief of the Time Goddess, one of the most broken cards in the anime, allowing you to skip to the start of your next battle phase. Back in Yu-Gi-Oh! GX, Prince Ojin decided to use this card with his satellite cannon already powered up with charge and limiter removal in order to skip to the start of the battle phase of his next turn in order to go for that satellite cannon OTK. That's how broken Mischief of the Time Goddess was in the anime. But when it came to releasing this card in real life, Konami has decided to restrict Mischief of the Time Goddess to the Valkyrie archetype, and only for you to activate it at the end of your own battle phase. And there's also this little card in the anime called Negative Energy, which basically lets you triple the attack power of any dark monster that you choose. And I'm pretty much glad that Konami decided not to release this card at all, because, oh man, with all the dark-based decks that are going around right now, if Negative Energy was released, then it would just make one of these archetypes like Dark Magician, or if you combine the Negative Energy with Thunder Dragon Colossus, that would be like, well, how much would it be? That would be 7,800 attack points for just one Thunder Dragon Colossus, just because it got powered up with Negative Energy. Also in the anime, you may realize that not every character is running multiple copies of a certain card. Of course, in real life, people have that choice as to how many copies of a certain card they want to run in his or her deck. But for the most part, for the sake of consistency, you have to run multiple copies of that certain card. You want to see your Blue Eyes White Dragons more often, then you run 3 copies of the Melody of Awakening Dragon and not just 1. You want to bring back dragons from your graveyard more often, then you run at least 2 copies of Return of the Dragon Lords. Want to run Pot of Desires? Well, personally, I like to run only 1 or 2 copies of this card just to avoid breaking. But there are people out there, at least one person out there, who likes to run 3 copies of Pot of Desires just because of how good a draw spell it is. Moving on, the second lesson that I learned in playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Is that the game can quickly and suddenly change. Halfway through the first year of my return to Yu-Gi-Oh!, Konami has decided to release Master Rule 4, in which you can only summon monsters to your extra monster zones or to extra monster zones that your link monsters point to. This new link summoning mechanic has radically changed the game, and unfortunately there isn't anything that anybody can do about it. But fortunately, I have taught myself to adapt and to just go along with learning about how to play this new way of playing Yu-Gi-Oh! It's not just about general game mechanics. The game can also quickly and suddenly change because some decks will become extremely popular while other decks are not. You'll see yourself playing one deck in one format, but then play an entirely different deck in another. And it's not just about general game mechanics. The game can also quickly and suddenly change because some decks will become more popular than others. You'll see yourself playing one deck in one format, but then play an entirely different deck in another. Within the past 2 years in which I played Yu-Gi-Oh!, the popular decks were Zodiac, True Draco, Spiral, Pendulum Magicians, Nightmare-based decks, Sky Strikers, Danger-based decks, and Thunder Dragons. I'm pretty sure that I'm missing a few, but let me know down in the comments. We also have Salamangreat to throw into the mix because after the release of the Soulburner structure deck, the archetype is quickly on the rise to becoming a great contender for this format. See what I did there? Do you? Anyway, going back to what I said about playing different decks in different formats, when I first got back into this game, I figured maybe I'll just build just one or two different decks just so that I'm able to actually play. But now I have about 5, 6, or 7 different decks just so that I can easily prepare myself for any future format. The third lesson that I've learned is that Yu-Gi-Oh! Can get quite expensive whether you're a casual player, a competitive player, or a collector. Just take a look at the card prices right now. You can expect to pay about $50 for a Thunder Dragon Colossus, or $40 for a Sky Striker Mobilize Engage. And what about Infinite Impermanence? One of the best hand traps to play in this format that's good for either going first or for going second. If you take a look at the price right now, expect to pay about $100 for just one copy of Impermanence. And going back to what I said about having to run multiples of each of these cards in your deck, expect to pay about $120 for a playset of Engages, about $150 for a playset of Colossus, and about $300 for a playset of Infinite Impermanence. I think being wise in how you spend your money is one of the biggest lessons that I can take away from playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Or investing in Yu-Gi-Oh! In general. And Yu-Gi-Oh! Being expensive doesn't just apply to those meta decks or those highly valued singles. The cheap costs that come with building budget decks can easily pile up as well. Take for example True Draco, Burning Abyss, Pendulum Magicians, Dinosaurs, all of which are pretty budget decks to build right now. But if you try and pick up the singles to build each and every one of these decks and not just for one deck, like I said, the costs can build up pretty quickly. I think one of the biggest lessons that anybody could take away from investing in Yu-Gi-Oh! Is learning to be more wise with how you spend your money. If you guys can't afford the playset of Infinite Impermanence, or if you guys can't invest in a playset of Thunder Dragon Colossus, then I say don't spend your money on it at all. Sometimes for the better of yourself, it's okay to settle for less. Speaking of being able to invest in meta and most popular decks, the fourth lesson that I've learned when it comes to Yu-Gi-Oh! Is that it's a dog-eat-dog world. Like a lot of other games out there, people don't pull any punches. People play to win, or better yet, people pay to win. The reason why people don't mind paying crazy amounts of money in order to build decks like Thunder Dragons, Sky Strikers, Nightmare-based decks, or pretty much any deck that abuses Firewall Dragon, is because that they know that those decks are tough ones to beat. And continuing on what I said about people playing to win, if there is a new FTK discovered, then people are almost always willing to jump onto that boat. That's why you've seen so many FTKs back in 2018. There's the Gem Knight FTK, there's the Pendulum FTK, and probably the most devastating of them all, Danger Dark World FTK. And continuing on what I said about people playing to win, if a new FTK is discovered like Gem Knight FTK, Pendulum FTK, or Danger Dark World FTK, or pretty much any FTK deck that abuses Firewall Dragon, people are almost always willing to jump onto that boat. People are just willing to invest tons of money into these decks, whether or not they know that some of these cards might make the ban list one way or another. And that's something that I think everybody should learn to pretty much deal with. And finally, the fifth lesson that I've learned after 2 years in Yu-Gi-Oh! Is that at the end of the day, Yu-Gi-Oh! Is just a game. Or to put it in better terms, Yu-Gi-Oh! Is a game that you shouldn't have to take so seriously. I may be a Yu-Gi tuber, but that does not prevent me from experiencing my share of losses. In fact, in case you guys didn't know this already, I actually participated in my first local OTS championship this past weekend, and man, I did horribly. In fact, out of the 28 or 29 people who participated in that event, I only placed second to last. During the third and fourth rounds, I got very upset that I wasn't doing so well, that I started just throwing my cards onto the playmats, and not on other people, of course, because I'm not that violent or anything like that. I threw my cards onto the table and I just got like this. I just folded my arms and while just relaxing onto the seat like that, and like That's how upset I was. But I'm pretty sure everybody has had an experience like this in which you lost at a duel or any game in general, and there really wasn't anything you could do about it. But to that I say that every loss and every win that you experience in Yu-Gi-Oh! Or any game in general is just another opportunity to look back at the game and see what went right and what went wrong. And just learn from it, accept it, and move on. That being said, I do look forward to competing at the next competitive event of my locals. And maybe one of these days I will participate in a YCS or a regionals. But whether or not I do any more competitive Yu-Gi-Oh! Or if I ever quit Yu-Gi tubing, I think what it really boils down to that I like to play Yu-Gi-Oh! Because I like to have fun. And I'm pretty sure everybody else likes to have fun as well. So with that being said, I figured that now would be a good time to show you guys the playmat that I actually used in the OTS Championship. Like I said, I like to have fun, and all these pretty neat collectibles are one of the reasons why I enjoy Yu-Gi-Oh! So much. So, since Yu-Gi-Oh! Is celebrating its 20th anniversary, I thought that for this OTS Championship, I would actually get the 20th anniversary playmat. Well, in the TCG, it's not really called the 20th anniversary playmat. It's actually called the Golden Duelist game mat. And here it is. I recorded this top 5 list earlier, and I actually did an unboxing of this. But unfortunately, I cannot rebox this playmat and do another unboxing. But here it is anyway. This playmat is just really, really cool. I love the artwork on this one. Compared to the Noble Knights playmat that I got upon my return to Yu-Gi-Oh! This is easily my best Konami-made playmat that I ever got. There's Yugi and there's Dark Magician, and there's all those cards that are both anime and competitive based. And it's very light and it's very soft. I love the feel of it. It's almost like silk. And yeah, I really love this playmat. This is probably my favorite playmat of all time. My favorite Yu-Gi-Oh! Playmat of all time anyway. That or the Lightsworn playmat that I got. I don't remember, but either way, I absolutely love this playmat. Give you one last look at it. So, that's it for this 500 subscribers special, everybody. Thank you all so much for watching. If there are any lessons that you've learned while playing Yu-Gi-Oh!, then leave those lessons down in the comments below, and I might feature them in my next video. So, if you guys enjoyed this video and you want to help support the channel, then be sure to hit that like button and comment below with what other Yu-Gi-Oh! Videos you guys would like to see. And of course, subscribe to this channel if you haven't so already. And ring the notification bell so you stay updated on my latest Yu-Gi-Oh! Videos. Let's all reach 1,000 subscribers together, shall we? Thanks for tuning in, everybody, and I hope to see you again.